The first thing, just one moment, let me check this. Okay, so yesterday I shared some of the resume files to you. Okay, so take time and complete within the week, and you can send it to me. I will verify. If you feel you can send, if you don't want, that's okay. You can update. First thing. Second thing, I already shared some of the projects online. Team, can you hear me? Yes, guys. Okay, all right. And also, what type of projects, descriptions, where you get, I already told you. And second thing, so far in the resume projects, we have EDA projects, which I explained you just month back, isn't it? And census income classifications, this is for I projects. I gave you the link in Thomson Reuters. Churn predictions. Churn predictions is applicable for any domains, guys. Understand? This is also explained at XGBoost algorithm. And lending club loan data, price predictions. In avocado price predictions, this is regressions. Time series is pending. I will come back. Don't worry. Segmentations. Now I'm going to this projects today or today and tomorrow. And next one, this is all deep, machine learning and exploratory data analysis projects, guys. Okay. Now, NLP projects, web scraping is very important. No matter what domains you pick, web scraping is important. Text summarizations, how to implement math in the text summarizations. I'll get back to you from tomorrow itself. Customer feedback analysis, sentiment analysis, I'll give it to you. Chartbot, I will tell you. Deep learning, speech recognition, object tracking, many more projects you have. DB, Databricks and Tableau plus R plus PySpark, you can mention on your platform as a technical skills on this part. Am I clear, team? Okay. Now, so yesterday we talked about these two links. In these two links, you found the project's name along with the date descriptions. Okay. And this is the GitHub link along with the codes and along with the descriptions you can find with end-to-end deployment. Now, data and churn predictions for telecom industry, you can click this and you can find the codes from here. Churn predictions from insurance industry, you can business use case, you can find out here. Business use case code. Churn data explorations and churn predictions. Churn means what, guys? Exit or not, isn't it? Credit card customers, you can find out this link, guys. So means these links have real-time attribute description. So that's why predicting customers churn and machine learning churn for bank customers, loan predictions based on customer behavior, isn't it? So based on the, sorry for no worries. So loan predictions based on customer behaviors. So based on customer behavior, does the bank offer a loan or not? So this you can find out from here. Customer feedback. Any industry you pick, the feedbacks are mandatory factors. So you can find the projects from here. Customer transactions productions. In the bank, a lot of banks are based on loan provide based on the transactions of amount, monthly, how much amount you transferred to other bank, what would be income source. Don't you think these all real-time projects, all the projects, the links is given. Fraud detections, Walmart sales forecasting. So once you've done the projects, you can do rather than Walmart, you can any supply chain, Amazon sales forecasting, Tata card sales forecasting, manufacturing sales forecasting, food and beverage sales forecasting, isn't it? So it can connect to everywhere. Grocery sale forecasting, text mining is very important. I will come back in NLP. Text, these are parents of Chat GPT. You guys understand? I'll talk about all those things. How to web scraping XML article, sent lending club loan data analysis. These all the thing you have all the projects ideas along business use cases along codes I given to you. Am I clear, guys? These are the few things I just wanted to highlight in today. Second thing, before you attend any interview, please make a script of your introductions. Means lot of when I take interview, Lot of people, they stammer when they start they introduce first step. So script and by heart. Every movie has a script writer or not? Why don't you think they can speak? When you write a script, the wording, the sentence are more accurate, isn't it? And the sounds like your expertise. So please make a script of your introductions, script of your resume and projects. In resume, if you mention 4 projects, prepare a script. What exactly? Starting phase, deployment phase, business use cases, goal, what you achieved, how come the company used, script. And then record yourself and listen. Based on 16 industries, these are the secrets to get interviews. The one who follows, you see the results. The one who not follows, it's up to you guys. Am I clear? So for me, these already I shared 1000 interview questions. Almost I shared 500. Rest of the 500 I will share at the end of the day, which is after 1.5 months or 2 months. Still, I will take another 1.5 month or 2 month sessions, guys, because I have to cover it. Am I clear? Online team, I hope you guys are clear, everybody. All right. So today I'm going to start clustering. So what is meant by clustering? Is this important? Clustering is unsupervised learning. So unsupervised learning in numerical part verse and numerical part, I mean, and like image, text, video, speech, all these things also unsupervised learning, guys. Understand? For example, if I go to, I will come back to this. Let's say 100 people eat food. 100 people visit to the restaurant. Out of the 100 people, so let's say 10 people rate 1 star, 10 people rate 2 star, 20 people rate 3 star. Are you guys understand or not? And 30 people rate 4 star, and 40 people rate 5 star. Now, if I ask you questions, can you please tell me which are the customer rate 5 star or not? This project is called customer segmentations. Means we segment, we group the customers based on the rating. Did you understand what I'm saying, guys? This is called clustering projects. First, we deal with, from today onwards, we start unsupervised. Supervised part is done. Am I clear? So unsupervised learning clustering. So let's say there are 1,000 customers visiting to the shopping mall, or 100 customers visit to the shopping mall. So K equal to 3 means let's create a 3 group. I mean, some window shopping customer, VIP customer, VVIP customer. Means if you classify these 100 customer into separate groups, can we predict next customer belongs to which group? Based on that, the treatment also provide like that way. Do you understand him? Online guys, are you clear or not? So today we have 3 type of clustering, guys. The first thing which we have is K means clustering and hierarchical clustering and DB scan clustering, isn't it? Are you guys getting me? PCA, also principal component analysis. Some of them we bring them to clustering as those things unsupervised because we reduce the dimensions. Dimensions means what? If you remember, in logistic regressions, we make accuracy for 12 features. Can I say this? Then we make a predictions for 13 features. This is one cluster or not? Do you understand? So this all comes under for clustering. So first, listen very carefully. We will talk about k-means clustering, and this is very, very important because in future, in web scraping projects which I worked in my ex company, I show these projects to you. And how do I implement web scraping with NLP? We will cover today, guys. Okay, on every day we go on. Now, before I go ahead, I will start today's sessions, which is, let's minimize. Okay. First, understand the graph. If you understand the math explanations, then K means part is clean. Okay. Now assume what is mean by K means algorithm. What is mean by KNN, guys? K nearest neighbor. What is the by default nearest neighbor? 5. By default neighbors are 5. So assume I have the records with us. First record, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and 12th. And student height and weight. So first record, student height is by default 5. Student height is 185. Student weight is 72. Now, student height is 170 and weight is 56 and 168, 60. So I have like 12 records or 12 student informations I have. Now the question is, can you please make these students into two group? I guys understand? Can you make these students into two group? So the first group is K1 and K2. So here two group means K equal to 2. So 1 and 2. So this is K1 and this is K2. Are you understand up to this? Okay. Now next step. So randomly in K means the very important concepts called centroid. What is the important concepts, guys? Centroid. Centroid means what, guys? Center point. You considered that. All right. So here, assume I will take a 2 points K1. Let's assume the center point should be any point. It's not that first record, second records, guys. Let me tell you. So for this understanding, let's consider the first K1 centroids are 185.72 and K2 centroid are 170.56. Now you may ask another question as, sir, how do you decide K equal to true? You may ask a question. Can we take 3 group? Isn't it? Just now I take 2. Can we take 4 group? Calm down. I will come back to that point as well. So listen to me. Today we start K-means algorithms. This is unsupervised learning. This is clustering algorithms. I have 12 the students' records informations and students' height and weight. And I want to make these data sets into 2 groups, guys. I want to make these data sets into 2 groups. So let's understand how math is split the records between 2 groups. Whenever we talk about K-means, the first concept is centroid, isn't it? So let's assume we take a centroid of 185.72 and 170.56. That means first records belongs to K1 group, second records belongs to, clear? Next one. The next point is the third record belongs to where? K1 or K2? So how do you find out? Let's do this. You need to find out Euclidean distance. So 168 minus 185 whole square plus 60 minus 72 whole square, we got 20.80. And 168 minus 170 whole square plus 60 minus 56 whole square, which is 4.48. So the Euclidean distance, can we get K1 20.80, K2 4.48? Can you please tell me which is very minimum value, 4.48 or not? Because 4.48 is less than 20.88. So what exactly happened? What we can say, the third records, this belongs to K1 and this belongs to K2. And now this belongs to K1 or K2, guys? K2. Online team, 8:30 a.m. batch. Are you guys clear or not clear? So my question here, K1 remain this centroid is constant or not? But we have 2 records belongs to K2. So what you do, you take a mean of centroid, guys. You calculate new centroid. How to compute new centroid? 170 plus 168 by 2, 56 plus 60 by 2. So the new centroid belongs to K1, K2, 169 and 52. So this centroid will replace to this centroid. Do you understand or not? 8:30 a.m. batch. So what happened? Do you know every step we compute the centroid or not? Now, what is the next step? The next step is, look at this. K1, first record belong to, first record is K1, second is K2. What is the third record? Third record belong to K2. Now, what is the next step? The next step, let's compute the fourth records. How to compute fourth records? 179 minus 185 whole square plus 68 minus 72 whole square, comma, 179 minus 1769 whole square, because we take a mean of the data or not? We take a mean of the data. So that's why 179 minus 116 whole square plus 68 minus 58 whole square. Now, what is the value we get? 6.32 and 14.14. So which is minimum? 6.32. Now the fourth record belongs to K1. So fourth records belongs to K1. Now K1 has two centroid or not? So how can we compute 179 plus 185 do 268 plus 72 by 2 comma 169.58. Can you keep doing the same things or not? Online team, I hope everybody's understand or not. Yes, Rohit, Ranjit, Paul, Gagan, Malik, Chinmay, Charan, Akshay, Anjali, why you not attend offline? Lokesh, Rohit, Sashi, and Yamini, Vikram. Okay. Yep. So let's clear this one. So again, very simple. Yamini, why you confused? It's very simple. Okay, I will do one more time. Listen to me. Assume assume you have, sir, I'm in home some reasons from next week. Okay. So no problem. Again, I will explain one more time. I'll come back to the model building now. So here, K means algorithm. This we use for clusters. I go to Google and I ask, let's say mango. Let's say mango, isn't it? So when we talk about, if I go to images, are we getting mango clusters or not? Do you understand what is accuracy of the model? 100%. Have you seen any images with is out of mangoes, guys? No. Now let's say mango and apple. This is how many clusters? Two clusters, two group. What is mean by that? I'm trying to make you understand. Clusters means group. Okay. So out of 100 customers visit to restaurant, 10 customers rate 1 star, one group. So how to make it? This project is called customer segmentations. Okay. So what happened? I have few data points. Few records. I want to make these records to two groups, K1 and K2. So randomly I pick, every group has some center point or not? In machine learning, we call that centroid. Understand? In machine learning, we call that a centroid. So K1 has center point 185.72. K2 has a centroid 170.56. Two centroid, are we clear or not? The next step is third one. The third one, I need to compute the centroid computations. 168 minus 185 whole square plus 60 minus 72 whole square. We got 20.80. 160 minus 170 whole square, 60 minus 56 whole square. We get 4.48, which has minimum value, K2 or not. Finally, I can say the third records belongs to K2 clusters. Are you clear? So here, what we derived, the first records belongs to K1, the second records belong to K2, the third record belong to K2. So here also we can implement Euclidean distance or not. Are you guys understand? This is called distance matrix. But the problem is K2 has two records. What you do? You need to compute new centroid computations, 170 plus 160 divided by 2, 60 plus 56 divided by 2, which is 169, 58. So this belongs to K2. This is K1 and K2. What is the next one? Can we compute fourth records belongs to K1 or K2? 179 minus 185 whole square plus 68 minus 72 whole square. We got 6.32. And 179 minus 169 whole square plus 68 minus, because we take average, we already compute the new centroid, isn't it? K2 two times, because you're not listening class. That's the reason sort of you not understand. Second time, very simple, man. Why Saurav, let me tell you, this is K1 is centroid of this one. K2 is center point of this one, right? Now I wanted to predict this records belongs to K1 or K2. Now what I do, I take a Euclidean distance. Look at this K1, 168 minus 185 whole square plus 60 minus 72 whole square. I got 20.80. Now 168 minus 170 whole square, 60 minus 56 whole square. So I got 4.48, 20.80, 4.48, which is minimum distance, 4.48. So that's why, okay, so that's why what happened, this belongs to K2 now, because so K2 have two groups and you keep on continue building the steps, guys. Are you understand? This is called K-means. And finally, we can come to know that the K1, 1, 4, 5, 6, these records belongs to one group, and K2, only two records belongs to two group. Are you understand or not now? Okay. So the one who late join, I'm sorry for that, because I already explained 2 times for simple concepts, guys. This is very, very simple. Still, you not understand. I cannot explain more. Very simple. We take a centroid of new one, the new centroid, take an average. That's it, and assign the test data points. Next step. Okay. Let's do in machine learning model. Choose the number of K clusters. How many clusters we choose for? 2 clusters, isn't it? Select at random K points the centroid. We take a centroid or not? K1 and K2. Assign each data point to the closest centroid. To compute the centroid, what is the 2's closest centroid? 3. So we take 3 computations or not? Compute and place the new centroid of each clusters. In the 2 and 3 belongs to K2 or not? Then we compute. Reassign each data point to the new closest centroid. If any reassignment took place, then go to step 4, otherwise go to fin, isn't it? So if you have centroid records to centroid, we take average, or else we close the model. This is what, guys. So this is same concepts we've been done here. So here, let's say K means we take how many points? 2 centroid. In the 2 centroid, we take a center point or not? This is one center point. This is another center point. And then what we find out the distance among both. And then based on this point to this point, and finally we can classify this belongs to one group, this belongs to another group. Understand, guys? Okay. So this is what K-means algorithms. But before that, I also wanted to talk about this one. The very important interview question. Listen to me. So in the previous example, so how many clusters we choose? In the example, we choose only 2 clusters, right? So the question is, why 2? Why not 3? So the interview question, how to choose the optimum clusters from the data set. Are you getting my point? How to choose the optimum, the very important. In clustering, there is no dependent variable. Remember this. In clustering, there is no dependent variable. First point. If you have dependent variable, then that is discrete data. What is meant by discrete? 1 to 5 rating. Stop. After 5, there is no more values. SAT score 100. There is no more values after 100. That's called discrete data. Understand or not, team? So here, how to choose the optimum clusters from the data set? The answer for this is elbow method. What is the method, guys? Elbow method. Not continuous. That's right. So what is meant by elbow method? So the answer is, by using elbow method, we can find out how many cluster we can generate. Are you guys understand? Using elbow method, we can find out how many clusters we can generate. For explanations, I pick 2, but So let's do this and we talk about this. How the elbow method looks like, guys? The elbow method looks like this. Now, listen to me. Elbow. Now, look from your arm, starting point to finger. Do you remember? So, think what I'm saying. Your arm starting from this point to finger. Where exactly your elbow? Assume here, this is your arm starting point. This is your fingers ends. Now, my question, can you please tell me where exactly elbow point you can find out? Means x-axis is number of clusters and y-axis is WCSS. What is WCSS? I'll get back to you. 3. Paul said 3. What about others? Arjun said 3. So what is meant by elbow? Now look at this. From elbow to fingers, it's a straight line or not? Or some from elbow to fingers, somewhere you bend? No, it's an optimum line. Okay. Now the answer for this question is 3. Did you see? Because from the 3, this is elbow point. That means from the data sets, you can make 3 clusters. Are you guys understand? From that data set, how many clusters you can make? 3 clusters. Now I'll come back and ask you a few of them. Can you please acknowledge me? I mean to say, so here, elbow graph image. Okay. So can you tell me how many clusters I can make this graph? How many, guys? What about this one, guys? This graph? 5. The correct answer is C. 4.5. No, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the answer for this question is 5, isn't it? Okay. Now next one. What about this now? 3. Elbow method for selection optimal K clusters. Okay. Everyone in training part, they will show the graph. But in real time, if you get the graph like this, a lot of people confuse. My training never, no one taught teach this, but this is what you will get in real time. When you get this time, the graph is this 4. I understand. So assume the elbow starts from here, and I mean arm starts from here. This would be the fingers. Are you guys clear? So what is meant by elbow? Now next one. Now let's go back to this is what optimal clusters. Number of clusters are 6 here, 6 groups. Team, I hope understand or not. Now let's talk about this. So as I mentioned right now, elbow method, the interview questions, what would be the x-axis and y-axis in elbow graph? Okay, what would be the x-axis and y-axis in elbow graph? Mention the x-axis is value of k, means number of clusters, and y-axis is WCSS, within cluster sum of squared. So I can to say that so by using elbow method, we can find out how many clusters we can create from the data set. I guys understand or not? In elbow graph, x-axis would be number of clusters, and y-axis would be WCSS, means we call as Euclidean distance. The technical point is WCSS. What is WCSS? Within cluster sum of squared. WCSS. I mean to say, look at the formula. What is meant by WCSS? I will get back to you right here. So assume I have few data points. We can make them into 3 clusters. Cluster 1, look at the formula. CI, this is cluster centroid 1, C2, centroid 2, C3, centroid 3, isn't it? And PI means what? 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, isn't it? Now WCSS equal to, so can I say C1 minus P1 whole square? Have a look at this. Distance of PI C1 whole square, summation. What exactly mean by that? P1 minus C1 whole square plus P2 minus C1 whole square, cluster centroid 1. P3 minus C1 whole square plus P4 minus C1 whole square. Can we take a summation or not? Can we take summations, guys? That's called the WCSS. And once we combine everything, so that we get it as WCSS, which is PN cluster 1, PN cluster 2, PN cluster 3, and this is called WC. Here C1 is centroid, that's right. Here C1 is centroid, C2 is centroid. And do you understand? This is the formula for now. Why we use this formula? Now, let me tell you, as I mentioned, entire machine learning is a math. Entire deep learning is a math. Entire data science is a math. Are you guys understand or not? And so here, let's close this. Cluster 1. Now, how many clusters? X-axis is number of clusters, Y-axis is WCSS. Now, this would be the optimal number of clusters. This would be the optimal number of clusters. I hope everybody understand what is meant by k-means. In k-means algorithm, there's a few things we covered. The first one is what is centroid, how to compute new centroid, isn't it? And then we discuss Euclidean distance. Euclidean distance. All right. And the fourth one, we have elbow method. In elbow method, the fifth one, x-axis is number of clusters and y-axis is WCSS. And we understand the sixth one is WCSS means within cluster sum of squared. And then seventh one, what we understood as various types of elbow graph and how to recognize how to make clusters. Eighth one, we understand math, how it classify, how math will clusters based on, K1 and K2 group. We discussed the math as well. This is what we club. Now, theoretical part, math part is completed. Let's go to the practical. And as I said, ninth one, cluster does not has dependent variable. And the variable is discrete. And the variable is, if you find it is a dependent variable, then that should be discrete count. In statistics, I was talking about what is category numeric data, discrete data, and continuous data. So in interview, anyone ask about k-means clustering, I want you to speak these 10 points, then only your interview will clear. When That's what I'm saying. Interview is a mind game, guys. When you speak about this point, you know well. Next questions. Can you please tell me what is meant by WCSS? Will you explain? Next questions. You set up a questions that let his brain ask questions that you already know it. That's called mind game between two players. And whoever good mind game, he will definitely select the interview. To play mind game, you require a good comm skill, communication skill, answer confidently. Very simple. This is the fact. And after 20 years also, whatever I'm saying to you, you remember after 20 years. I hope some of experienced folks are there. Am I correct, Prasanna? Yes, Sashi. I hope, guys, are you agree with me or not what I'm saying? Okay. So let's go to the practical part. Today, the projects which we working, the name of the practical is Sorry, guys. Customer segmentation. I'll give you one project. So let's discuss this. True. Close it. Close it. Okay. I will challenge you, the one who complete this. But before that, we'll build one practical. Okay. So prediction. So assume I have some records with me. What is the name of the projects, guys? Customer segmentations using K-means algorithm. So let's say I'm in 200 customers, they visit to the store. I hope you guys are shopping or not. When you're shopping, some of the malls, they provide card for you. Whatever you're shopping, some of the credit points, it's get into the card. Can I say this or not? Now here, this is customer ID, gender, genre, age of the customer, annual income of the customer, spending score. Let's say the customer ID is 1, is male, and 19, income is 15K, and spending score is 39, isn't it? Next one is female, and then annual income is 16, and spending score is 6. And female is 31, 17, and 40. Means one customer ID is 5. Let's say 100 customers on a queue. On a queue. So first customer is a male. Say fifth customer, his age is 31. His annual income is 17,000 or 17 lakhs or whatever it may be. And spending score is 40. Spending score is 40. Out of spending score, I range between 1 to 100, isn't it? Nobody can spend the score more than 100 rupees. I mean, 100 means what, guys? If your package is 1 lakh, you can spend up to 1 lakh. Can I say this or not? Just giving you some example, try to understand. So is this a dependent variable? Is this data is continuous? Yes, continuous till 100. But after there is no data point which is beyond 100. Can we say this or not, guys? This is spending score. Now, in this score, let's try to build the machine learning model, discrete data, and how to build the model and how to create the algorithms to this point. Let's build this. So theory math is clear, right, guys? Now let's go ahead to this one and we'll complete these projects. And today we'll complete K-means. Once we complete K-means, tomorrow we go ahead for, this is very important. And this only we can connect to NLP, natural language processing. And I will tell you some of the frameworks, and tomorrow, or maybe, yeah, tomorrow we'll start NLP and I will talk about a lot of things from there, guys. Okay, today might be introduce new package. NumPy, Matplotlib, pandas. Let's read the data. So in the data, we have 5 attributes, right, guys? This is what we discussed. And as I mentioned, clustering has no dependent variable. Clustering has no dependent variable. Do you know in entire value, sir, how will we decide where to cluster which? Yes, that's good questions. That's based on your practical only. That's based on most of the business use cases. You can automatically find out. Check in the dependent variable is discrete, then definitely you can use cluster. Okay, Anjali? That's what I'm saying. In this case, the dependent variable, we don't have any dependent variable, but spending score is very important or not? Okay. And once the spending score important, and Anjali, are you clear? So now here, customer, mall, and genre, gender is not required to decide the spending score. Can I say this? Do you think your age and your gender is matters your spending score? No. So that's the reason I need to eliminate the first two attributes from the data sets. Let's go ahead and we can done this. This would be your independent variables. As I mentioned, clusters don't has a dependent variable. Now, today, I want to talk about very important package of sklearn is sklearn.clusters import k-means. Sklearn.clusters import k-means. But before that, let's go ahead and I can mention a little bit, check the tuning part. N clusters. What is the by default clusters, guys? 8. Understand or not? Init k-means plus plus. What is meant by init k-means? Max iterations 300, random state 0, and algorithms auto. Now, parameters means default 8, the number of clusters to form as the number of centroids to generate, isn't it? Centroid concepts we understood or not? Next one, init. So what is init, guys? So here we have two part, init k-means plus plus and random. So k-means plus plus selects initial cluster center for k-means in a smart way to speed up the convergence. Do you understand or not? I mean to say, let's assume in if you have 2 crore records, guys, isn't it? If you have 2 crore records, how machines recognize this centroid? Okay, nearest neighbor is this one, isn't it? And this centroid, so all those things require data structure and algorithm, isn't it? So the data structures we have heap queue and short distance and hash table, a lot of things we have, isn't it? So based on all those things, we will implement this. So that's why when we call this algorithms, what happened came in select initial clusters. Which one select initial clusters? It decided by default, isn't it? Is decided by default. You no need to do these things, guys. Random, choose n clusters observations rows random. So do you understand what is meant by init? Yes or not, guys? Okay, so next one, default is 10. Number of time the k-means algorithms will be run with a different centroid seed. Do you remember today when I start the session, I compute a new centroid multiple time or not? Do you understand why we compute multiple? Because if 2 records belongs to one group or 3 records belongs to one group, I need to create a new centroid. So that's why by default, how many times it's create? 10 times. Can we hyperparameter tune or not? If accuracy is not fine, I can change to 20, I can change to 30. Did you understand? So guys, you understand in depth of k-means, trust me. You guys are understand. If you listen the class well, you love the sessions. If you not listen the class, you never understanding it. Please, my dear students, understand. The next one is default is 3. Maximum number of iterations the k-means algorithm for a single run is 300. That means in system, when you mention all these parameters, system automatic takes. But now my question is, n clusters 8. So how many records, guys? We have 200 records. If I tune by default, we miss reminder would 1 or a reminder would be not 0. It is not proper classifications. What is 200 by 8, guys? Now on this scenario, whenever you work clustering algorithms, let me tell you, whenever you build clusters, whatever cluster may be, either k-means, hierarchy, DV scan, you must plot elbow graph. I understand. You must plot elbow graph. Up to this point, everyone is clear or not? 8:30 a.m. batch. I know offline guys are clear because we are on live. Online team, I don't know. Okay. Okay, Ranjit is clear. Good. The one who cleared, thank you and appreciate for understanding. Now the next one. We done this. As we don't have independent variable, now let's create an empty list. Empty list WCSS. What is WCSS? Within clusters, let's create an empty list. Okay. Let's create an empty list. And in empty list, let's take a range. Based on your choose, I can mention for I in range of 1 to 11. We done this or not? For loop in initial of the session, we done the practical for loop. And for loop difference of for and while you require a conditions, for loop doesn't require a conditions, guys. Okay, I will have a 2 day sessions. I will take Python. I will complete everything. Okay, and you don't need to spend 3 to 4 months to learn Python. Only 2 days if you attend my sessions, all Python is done. I'm mid of the presentations of the documentations. Once I complete, I will take 2 days. Everything is done. That's it. You close up and go to the data science. Okay, guys. So to cover my one class equal to other faculties, they have 1 week, 2 weeks, 10 days. Very simple. Anyway, so the next one is okay. So what happened? So k means equal to k means n cluster I. So what I'm do? Let's go to help options and I copy all the things here and I paste it to the hyperparameter tuning, guys. What I'm going to do, I wanted to plot a elbow graph now. I wanted to plot a elbow graph. N cluster I. Why I take I? Because my machine has to be generate how many clusters. And init k means plus plus. What is meant by init k means plus plus? Initially means system automatic choose. So if I remove this, then by default it is, I hope understand. Now random state, if I remove, or maybe I can also change the random state to 0. Okay. Now, guys, are you clear or not? Now, k means algorithm fit to x. What is x? Independent variable. Do you know I fit my k means algorithms to the data set, which I keep it here to train the model, isn't it? And once we fit, let's plot range WCSS. Title is elbow method. X-axis is number of clusters. Let's show this. K means is not defined. One moment. K means and WCSS. Let's wait. Right click, copy maze and paint. Can you please tell me by look at the graph, how many clusters? Yes, we append all these graph in the WCSS. In WCSS, we there's a cluster sum of squared. So how many clusters we can make, guys? Do you understand or not? From the data set, how many clusters we can make? 5. Now, can we do hyperparameter and I change to this or not? Yes, guys. Okay. Did you see? Ranjit, we mentioned here wc.append k-means.inertia. Please, append the empty list, whatever the inertia we plot, please append to it. Understand? So we plot elbow graph. What is next step? Can we go ahead and build the model? What is the model? K means equal to k means. Instead, we check I or not. Now I change to 5. Now rest of things same. And I will change my random state to 0. And if I want to increase, I want it to change by default to 10 to 20, but not required. Let's go ahead. And very simple. We know how many clusters. Training the k-means model on the data set. Fit predict x, y k-means. Let's go ahead and we do this. Did you see? It is a done, guys. Now y underscore k-means. Okay. So this is all exactly the predicted. I hope understand predicting x, guys. But before that, I wanted to, what is meant by k-means? That means we can make a clusters. How many clusters we make? 5 clusters. So first record belongs to 4, 3. Are we going to club it or not? So how to club it? Let's plot all those things. Let's plot the visualizations. Do you remember scatter plot 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2? How many clusters we can make? 5 clusters. To make the clusters, plt.scatterplot, XYK means YK means 0, comma 1. This is X axis 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1. And first clusters, I make it red, blue, green, cyan, magenta, and scatter. I mean, of the plot and centroid is required or not, guys? We need to mention label equal to cluster 1, cluster 3, cluster 4. Centroid part would be yellow. So once we plot this, just I will show just one moment, guys. Now copy maze. You understand or not? From the data set, how many clusters we make? 5 clusters. Now, how do we get 5 clusters? K equal to 5 based on elbow graph. Based on elbow graph, we can make how many clusters? 5 clusters. Now, by look at the clusters, can we say which cluster has highest spending score? Which cluster has highest spending score and highest annual income? Which cluster has high spending score? Green, cluster 3, isn't it? Now the next one, which cluster has less spending score, less annual income? Cluster 5, agree? Everybody's agree or not? Cluster 5. Now which cluster has highest spending score, less annual income? Cluster 1 or 4? Which cluster has highest spending score and less annual income? Cluster 4. Did you understand? Theory, math, practical, you understand? What is the real time? I will give you real time. What you need to do next step. So, okay, this is what the work assigned by your managers. I mean to say, so far, we had 200 records, isn't it? 200 records, we can plot elbow graph and we make how many clusters, guys? 5 clusters, isn't it? Now, if you explain this graph to manager, he will ask what I do. Are you guys going to understand or not? You develop, you find good, fantastic, you understand. But when you show to managers, what do you want to explain, man? Are you understanding? So my question is, every cluster is one data records or not? We have 200 data points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you compute, how many data points we have? Now he will say, please generate the report. Are you guys understand? Please generate the reports. Cluster 1, which are the customers, his age, its salary, its spending score. Cluster 2, cluster 3. Do you know, I need the record. I mean to say, in the data, the model has to predict whether the first customers belongs to 1, belongs to 2, belongs to 3, belongs to 4, belongs to 5. Do you understand or not? And if in this clusters, which cluster is this? Cluster 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Here, I need to get 19 records if I filter cluster 4 so that the manager can understand. And based on this, they can recognize which are the VIP customer. This is the end goal. What is the next step? Online team, are you understand what I'm speaking, guys? So you need to do, I want 8:30 a.m. batch, use your brain and take help of ChatGPT and Google. What I'm trying to say, in historical data, we have 200 records and we visualize those records, graph visualizations, we understand. But now my question, I want you to predict whether this is cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3, cluster 4, or cluster 5. So please, yeah. So that's what I need to predict this. Will you do this? What is the next one? The next one, once you build the model, already we build the model and predict, let's go for deployment. What is deployment? Create a UI. In the UI creations, if a customer enter his all these, how many models we trained with? Age, salary, and spending score. In the future predicts in UI front end, if a customer enter age, salary, and spending score, model will predict does new customers belongs to 5 cluster, 4 cluster, third cluster, two. Based on that, the treatment is given to him. Do you understand? End to end, from starting phase to ending stage, I explained to you. Is this helpful for a mall or not helpful? Is this helpful or not helpful, guys? Definitely. That's called machine learning. That's called clustering. I know today out of offline online, only 15 people understand, rest of them not understand. The one who not understand, trust me, explain very slowly, even though at the 8th class kid, he can understand. Trust me, guys. But what you do, I want you to record it and you want to listen and build the model. Two things I'm assigning to you. The first thing is I want you to predict this records belongs to which clusters. 200 records belongs to which clusters, and make a sheet. Cluster 1 which records, cluster 2 how many records. Already some of them build this, guys. Team, you understand? If anyone expert at HTML, CSS, create a UI, this is the project's, the name of the project's end-to-end model deployment using clustering algorithms with the help of customer segmentation, the name of the projects. Will you do this? Online team, will you do this? Interesting or not interesting, guys? But interesting. So this is all real time. Let's close it and don't save. I will share all the thing. Oops, wait. Oh my goodness. So the one who not attend, nobody will understand, guys. Trust me. Even in Great Learning Scalar Academy and all those things, they won't come back. They explain all these things. Trust me. If you don't trust, you can call and ask to your friend who learning over there and ask what concepts I told. Ask. You build and ask. Then you compare among both. So let's go ahead and evening. I'm sorry. Morning batch. Go to the lab and practice and use your brain and think for 2 hours how to predict and how to pass the clusters. And then okay, so we just k-means clusterings we done. And let's one second. Is work on first point. Predict every records belongs to which cluster, and this is one, and if possible create UI, okay, for this if possible. Okay, this is not mandatory. And I'm shared this to you. I know they don't. Yeah, great learning. Also, I was faculty and crew. One, two. Okay, that's it for today. And we talk to you tomorrow. Have a good day, guys. Bye.